back at my life, I remember being very obsessive and having, addictive behaviors. I remember the first time I smoked marijuana, I loved it, and the very next day, I bought an ounce of weed and began to smoke very heavily. And all my friends, we smoked weed, we drank, we partied big. Everything that we did it without any limits. I remember back right before graduating, we had like this big senior party, and it was only like a select few of people that were invited. So I just drank and drank and drank until I slipped into a coma. I was in this state for over 18 hours. The ambulance came and scooped me up, and they filled my body with charcoal and basically saved my life. This was just the beginning, because eventually I would start doing and selling drugs like cocaine and heroin, and initially I started snorting cocaine and snorting heroin. Eventually I became an IV drug user. One time I found myself doing so much coke and so much dope that I overdosed. And I looked at the sky, and the sky began to basically fade away, and everything began to get dark and black. And I slapped myself, and I come to, and then I start fading out again. And I started heating up salt water and injecting my veins with like this homemade saline solution, and this went on and on. This actually happened to me over 3 times where I overdosed on drugs. One time I actually found myself calling a guy that witnessed to me one time, and a friend of mine named Elliot. When I was overdosing, I found myself ODing. I called Elliot and I said, "Man, I'm dying. And he said, "Man, what's wrong?" I said, "Man, I'm ODing on dope." Immediately he began to pray for me. As he prayed for me, the overdose began to stop. And it was amazing, because I was going into convulsions. I was fading out. I knew that was a wrap. I was like, "Man, I'm dying. This is it." He came and picked me up, took me to Charity Hospital, which is like the state hospital in New Orleans, and waited with me for like 14 hours. And so I was like, man, I looked at my life and I saw the repetition, going to jail, in and out of prison, doing time, ODing on drugs, finding myself, just upsetting my family, depressed. And then all of a sudden I saw a brother that would risk his freedom, that basically would risk his life, coming and pick me up and take me to a hospital and hang out with me for 14 hours and make sure I was all right. That's when I saw the love of Christ. That's when I saw God and His love, and I said, man, what am I doing? Why am I obsessed with the things of the world? I need to be obsessed with the things of God. And that's when God began to rip me apart from my obsession with the things of the world, the lust, the pride of life, all of the things that are attractive to the flesh. God began to rip those things out of my life, and He began to catapult me into a lifestyle where I was obsessed with Him. And today I find myself overdosing on the love of Jesus, and just really passionate about the things of God. I'm a high school campus missionary. I go into schools across the country, speaking to young people today. I own my own record label. I speak and I do hip hop nationally. I own my own studio. I have a beautiful wife, 4 children, and I would have missed out on all of that if I would have stayed in my addictions: drinking, smoking, the pornography, gambling. I did all of those things without a limit. And God is just doing great things in and through my life. But it came to a point where I had to realize that I was basically killing myself and killing my future by being obsessed with the things of the world and basically overdosing on society's attractions. Everything that the culture has to offer basically was killing me and taking my life. It wasn't until I left those things that I actually began to live.